Hey guys, Casey here, back with another Sienna minivan camper video. I got it bad. This is becoming quite an addiction, and at some point I know I'm going to have to stop modifying it, but for now we'll just keep going with it. I made a video last year about the the lift kit conversion I have on my van, and how happy I was with it. I'd also mentioned that I have airbags on the rear suspension because once you start adding the weight of the build, solar panels on top, just everything you add to it, it's going to add a lot of weight. And the Sienna is it's designed as a really smooth commuter van, so the suspension isn't really rugged. So I put airbags on the back. I have about 20 to 25 psi nose to firm up the rear. They were a tremendous help. My problem is with the front suspension. It's still really soft. When you add the lift to it, it really doesn't do anything to firm up the ride. So when I'm loaded out, if you're traveling, especially on the freeway, interstate, you're traveling on 70, you hit a good bump, like if you're coming to a bridge, it's going to bottom out, and it's kind of unsettling if you're traveling, especially if you're a little bit road weary, tired. And I had wondered, what I could do to firm up the front suspension, and I really didn't come up with anything until a viewer, I guess it's been about a month or so ago, asked me in a comment if I had heard of Sumo Springs, S-U-M-O, and honestly, I hadn't. I looked them up. Here's the name of the company, and here's what the spring assist looks like. It's really quite simple. It's some really, we'll say, heavy duty but pliable plastic/rubber material that fits in between the coil springs, and it keeps the coil springs from compressing completely, provides some more resistance, and is supposed to firm up the ride. This is exactly what I need if they actually work. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get them in right now or not. The sky, although really cool looking, is starting to become a little bit threatening. We've had some thunderstorms pass through today, but I'm going to go ahead and get the van jacked up and probably go ahead and take the wheel off and have it ready, and we'll see how it goes. Supposedly these will install. You can see that lay them down here. So if you look here, you can see the springs are pretty flexible, so they're supposed to go in between the second and third coils of the springs without any tools, although we'll see. Hopefully they go on as easily as they appear in the videos that I watched. But we're going to go ahead and give it a shot. Won't say they were incredibly cheap. They were about $240, something like that. But I will consider this money really well spent if they do what they're supposed to do, meaning they not only firm up the ride, but they kind of provide a little more of the a firmer than factory suspension feel. It's going to make the ride more stable and hopefully a little bit safer traveling along the interstate at speed as well. I'm starting to sprinkle now, so I don't know how far I'm going to get, but we'll go for it. So keep on watching. We'll see how it goes. This is kind of hard to see. I don't know how this is going to show up on camera. I did not take the front wheel off. I do have the van jacked up. I jacked it up so the coil could unwind, and I'm going to try to video this. So this spring assist, again, it is highly flexible. It also has one channel on bottom that's a little bit deeper, and that channel goes on top. It will go between the, according to the instructions, between the second and third coil is where you're going to install it. And no tools. It says you can simply spray it with soap and water. So we'll get it to spray. Alright, so we'll spray it all around. Spray the coil all around. And see if I can get this in here with one hand. Oh no. And we'll see. 1, 2, 3. So it wants us to kind of go ahead and wrap it, and then get the bottom started, if possible. And then once you get the bottom and top started, you should be able to basically spin the coil around, and that's it. That baby is on. It's pretty easy. There's no attachment once you get to that point. Simply, and everything's black, so it stays right there. So here you go. It's in there, and see, the spring's black, the strut's black, the Sumo is black, so everything's kind of difficult to see. I hope you can see that it just simply rides in between the coils. Again, so far the insulation, all I've used is floor jack to jack the van up. I did not take the front wheel off, just squirted it down with soapy water. Alright, so after I got the coil spring inserts installed, which again, it only took a total of about 15 minutes, and that's being generous, to be honest with you. It was pretty quick. I was able to get it out on the road and give it a quick test. This road, 2-lane highway, it's a pretty decent road, but it pitches you left and right, a little bit. It's not real flat, especially this part right here. Coming around this curve, there's a box culvert going over a creek, and right here, there's a pretty good slam. And if you were going 50 or 55, it really compressed the front end of the van. And then, of course, when it decompressed, the springs relaxed, it kind of unsettled the front end of the van, and then it kind of felt like you were in a boat, just kind of waving back and forth and that kind of rocking back and forth and that kind of thing. Going up this hill here, I don't know if you look closely, you can see the van kind of wiggles to the left, to the right a little bit. Just felt unsettled. When I put the airbags on the back of the van, that definitely helped substantially, but the front end of the van needed something. And so once again, I'm really, really happy and thankful that the guy who viewed my video before and recommended I take a look at Sumo Springs. So thanks again. They're fantastic. They definitely made, it was a short sample, but they definitely made the van feel significantly more secure, planted to the road. It doesn't feel like a race car still. It's still, even though it's a minivan, they're still pretty heavy. Then again, with the solar panels on top, the awning on top, the shelving I've added, the deck system, even though I've taken the seats out of the back, I think I've probably added quite a bit more weight than I had before. And the weight on top of the van with the solar panels, definitely, this curve right here especially, the van would rock heavily to the left, leaning to the left. So you had to go, I won't say you had to go slow, but you couldn't go the speed limit, which is 55. It definitely felt too unsettled. I noticed right away with these Sumo Spring inserts that the van felt more stable, more firm, and ultimately, it made me feel more secure. In no way, shape, or form am I sponsored by Sumo Springs or anybody affiliated with them. Just thanks to this viewer who gave me the lead to check them out. I watched a bunch of YouTube videos. The reviews seem to be pretty outstanding, so I support them. I think they're a good addition. Here's the part number in closing, so if you've watched this far, thanks again, and I do recommend them on your van. So thanks again. We'll see you later.